Let's go through LeetCode 2963. Count the number of good partitions. For this question, you are giving a zero-index array nums consist of positive integers. A partition of an array into one or more contiguous subarrays is called good if no two subarray contains the same number. Return the total number of good partition of nums. So what does the good partition mean is that you'll see, for example, these nums can be partitioned into 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this one appears only in the partition, the first partition, right? So that means for the same, let's look at example 2. If it's the number 1, right, it must appear in the same partition. So if there is example 3, right, so we have to put this one together, right? So there are 2 possible partitions. One is we have separated here, right? And another is that we put all of them into one subarray. So for this question, there is a similar question called partition label. For that is the number 700 something, right? Partition label. And what do we do is that for that question, we use that it has only 26 lowercase character. What we do is that we use a map or array to store the last position of the character, and then we use a left and a right pointer to move forward. And for every time we move the left, right, we find the right will be the right, and the last position get a maximum of that, right? So that means if we find a character here on the right pointer, we move to the rightmost of this character, right? Then if the left equals right, in that case, what we can say, we can have this partition, those kind of character or numbers appears only once, right? So in that case, we can partition this array into the smallest array, and which the array number in it appear only once, and also it partition as many as possible, right? So we in that case, for example, these nums, right? If we have m subarrays can be partitioned, right? Then we can use the mathematical formula that is 2 to the power let's try to see n minus 1, right? If we don't know this formula, that means that at the context, what I do is that I use dp, right? So for example, there is a dp0 means a dp or whatever dp1, right? That is, this has only one partition, partition, and the dpi, right? It have 2 choices. One is that we put this kind of array to append to the previous one, right? Or we separate. We have 2 choices. We partition at this kind of line, or we use the previous one. So it will be 2 multiplied by dp I minus 1, right? So in the end, we just return dp how many counts, right? For example, we have m, right? dpm. That will be our result. So let's begin to write code for this. So we'll say we have map, right? Map integer. We call last equals new hash map. So what we do is that we have a equals nums dot length, and for every number, right? We are going to put to get its last index. I equals 0, I smaller than n plus plus. So what we do is that last put nums I and I. So that is for every number, the last index it appears, right? So just like the partition label. So what we do is that we're going to have left equals to 0, right equal to 0, right? And we need to have a count, can partition to as many as we can, the maximum number, right? So we have a count. So equals to 0. What we do is that for left smaller than and left plus plus, right? So what we do is that right equals max dot max right, and last it left, right? So we'll say if left equals to right, then we're going to have that means from this at the right, this kind of index, right? We can separate to array, right? So we are trying to separate this kind of partition the array as many as possible. So at the index right, we can have a after this we can have a partition, right? So we can have the count, right? Count plus plus. So in this case, we can have the partition to the smallest as possible, right? So in the end, we just return to the mass dot power, mass dot power to the count -1, right? So we need to change this one into int. So we need a mod, right? So for this one, we can write some kind of formulas for that. And actually, when I did that on contest, I do is that I have for the dp, right, equals new long count +1, right? So what we do is that we know dp 1, right? dp1, the first subarray, it has just one way of partition, right? So what we do is that for int I equals to I smaller than count +1, plus plus. So dp I equals dp I -1 multiplied by 2, right? And we need to have mod private static int final int mod equals 1. And mod, right? In the end, we just return dp count and convert this one to int, right? So this is what I do during the contest. Right, because let's get nums left. Okay, num select. So doing like this, the time complexity will be O(n), and the space is the map is O(n), right? The array is also O(n), right? Actually, we can for this kind of code, this kind of block, right? As we already have the for loop for the left, so the things that we can combine this code, right? So that is this is also iterate the index one by one, right? So actually, we don't need to have a count, right? We just need a result, long result. Let's set this one as 0 L, right? Because the first one, the things that if result equals to 0, right? The first one we need to set result equals 1 L. Otherwise, we have result equals result multiplied by 2 and mod and we don't need this, just a return convert to result.